audiobook, which I have a fantastic audiobook, and I love it, and it's like 8 or 9 hours long or something like that, and I'm up for it. Like I'm up for this movie being 8 or 9 hours long, but like I feel like most people are not. So,
if Peter Jackson had been directing it, then it could have been 8 or 9 hours.
True, yeah. Do y'all mind if I, like, will you still be able to see me if I stand? I feel like awkward on the stool.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We have that there for if you need to lean against it.
But is there anything I missed? I'm really, like, I feel like I'm the dad here, being like, I wouldn't change anything about you. Like, I'm really happy with it. I think it works perfectly as a movie. I think they did an incredible job with, I mean, I've seen it 11 times, like, that's on purpose. So I feel like for the book purists, like, the book still exists, you know, and they can just sort of exist side by side.
Hi, as someone who's a big fan of the books, first of all, I love this movie so much. And second of all, what was it like for such a deeply personal project to be made into a movie, and what was that experience like?
That's a really good question, and it's interesting, like, you know, I think I have been asked, like, variations of that question earlier in the process, but I haven't been asked that question since the movie's been out. I mean, it has been like, I don't want to start crying. Like, it has been one of the best and hardest couple weeks of my life. Like, you know, I mean, it's amazing. Like, it's, you know, I'm getting emails that, you know, just, it's an incredible honor that, you know, there are teens who are sharing things with me that they haven't shared with other people. It's, you know, it's really cool. I mean, it's just magic, like being in a theater like this and stuff, and like listening to everybody laugh and like clap and like, you know, I don't know. It's incredible. It's also like a lot of attention, and I know, like, you know, there are some writers here, and you know, I think, you know, you guys know a little bit about the fear of like somebody new reading your work. So this is like a little book that came out in 2015 as a mid-list title, you know? And, you know, it had like a little cult following, kind of, and it certainly had some, you know, it didn't land well with everybody, but it was generally like a pretty happy little place, like, you know, and then suddenly, like 3 years later, this book is more mainstream, and people have opinions, and it's like,
I love it so much, and I really can't thank you enough for it, and just for what it means to me. Like, this is just a really important and wonderfully done book. I just want to thank you.
Thank you so much.
Do we have any other questions? Come on. Oh, you got a question? I'm gonna come all the way over. No, I got this. But now you're without a microphone, so I'll give you this.
So, as you said, like, my friend and I are both writers also, and as a writer, I know when you first sit down to write the book, you have favorite scenes that you're just so excited to write, and there's one that you dread writing that you have to put in there. Like, what were some of the scenes like that for you, whether they made it into the movie or not?
Yeah, well, you know, so there were the scenes that I was excited to write, and then there were some that, like, as I was writing them, were a total blast. So the most fun scene for me to write is not in the movie, but it was filmed for the movie, so I think it's going to be in the, like, bonus content on the DVD. It's when Simon goes to the gay bar. So it's kind of exciting, because I wasn't there that day of filming, so I've actually never seen that part of, you know, I've never seen what they filmed for it, but, you know, I try to, like, explain to people that, like, the voice of drunk 17-year-old Simon is my most natural, authentic voice. So, like, that was the part that just, like, wrote itself, you know, like, when you're like, so.
That's an awesome shill for the Blu-ray sell too. That was nicely done. Yeah, or the audiobook.
I I actually, sorry, I don't know what the bonus content's gonna be. I assume it'll be in there, and I think Greg has said that, but I'm not sure, so don't like sue me if it's not. Yeah.
Get the special director's cut with all the extra bonus footage.
Anybody else have a question? We got some, we're gonna go here and then we'll go over here.
So what was your impetus and how did this start in your head and get going in the first place?
Yeah, it's, for me, all of my books definitely have started with the characters. So it started with Simon, honestly, like the first draft of this book. Luckily, I didn't write like the whole first draft of it, but like I definitely did a good couple pages of like Simon waking up and, like that was several pages, like Simon waking up and like, like checking his social media accounts and like, just really thinking about how his friends all use social media differently and like, and it was all part of the work, like, as you all know, like, knowing how Simon's friends use social media was really useful, even though I don't even think I showed them using social media in the book. But it helped me know them better, and I think, I started with Simon, and I always knew that he was going to be a gay teen boy. I always knew who the love interest would be. So I'm the first person who ever guessed correctly because like, it's the only time I've ever guessed correctly. I guess, I never thought I'd get a book deal. I don't know if anybody was at that like first Atlanta Writers Club conference that I went to in, I guess 2013. Like I was the one sitting there barely able to talk, like out in the hallway waiting to like do my pitch. Like not sure if I'd even be able to form words. Like I did not have any expectation of getting a partial manuscript request, like ever. So it's still like, it's very surreal.
I agree. The movie's amazing, and I want to thank you so much for it because it's something that I don't think a lot of my friends and I have talked about how we didn't have this in high school, and how like that's gonna make a big difference for people like in years to come. But my question for you is, with the movie specifically, what was your level of involvement with like the production? Because I know like there's some movie adaptations that like authors completely involved, and there's some that they're not. Like where were you in that process?
Yeah, I think. Basically that's what I found, like talking to just the small handful of my friends who are going through something similar, is that it's different for every author. So in my case, I'm not a formal producer, so I think like technically if they had wanted to, they could have taken the rights to this and done whatever they wanted, but that's not how they wanted to approach it. So my team, like Temple Hill is the production company, so they did like The Fault in Our Stars and Twilight, and so they like, they had a pretty good like young adult pedigree kind of, and Greg Berlanti, the director, like pretty much, I mean they kept me involved at like every step of the process. So for example, when the writers came up with the first draft of the script, or whatever the first draft they were going to show me. I think like everybody was nervous to show me the script. I don't know, if I had said like I hate this, I don't think I particularly would have had veto power, but as it happened, I like read the script and was like sobbing, it's perfect. Within like a week, I had like, basically I had it memorized. My agent and I were like texting each other quotes from the script, like things that were not in the book, like we're like, no offense, America, Yeah, and so I gave a couple of notes, like, like my very sweet LA screenwriters didn't know exactly what you could and could not order at Waffle House and things like that, They also thought Waffle House had a drive-through and it did not. Thus Dancing Goats. But But like, it was like that level of stuff. It was just mostly, so my role has basically been like, they keep looping me in and I keep being like a fangirl who's obsessed with everything they do and every choice they make. So, and I get to be on set because it filmed here.
Hi, so I have a question. What made them change the title of the movie from the title of the book? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I think, so that was a long decision process. And I think I'm not supposed to share what some of the original titles were, but they were awful. They were so bad. There were these things they wanted to change it to because, you know, they kept coming back to Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda is a mouthful, which it is. like I can barely say it. And, you know, and also like Fox studios, as it turns out, are very like data driven. So they were actually testing different titles with like test audiences, and they were finding across the board, everybody was giving the movie, like even an early version of the movie, like super high marks. And the title, they were like, we don't get it. Like, the title is not like playing well, like in any market. So, and so they like broke the news to me that they were gonna change it. And then, yeah, this is I mean, some of my critique partners are here and have heard me like crying over like some of the titles. They were, I mean, these are problematic titles. Like, they were so bad and problematically stupid titles. So, like, and then finally one day it was like, you know, after I'd fought this for almost a year, they called me and they're like, hey, the title's gonna be Love, Simon. Is that okay? And I was like, you know, a year thinking it was going to be something bad, and I was like, I love it, I'm obsessed with it, it has Simon in the name, like, it's so good, and I've really come to feel like, I mean, not only do you have that, like, really magical moment when it's like, love Simon, and he's, like, typing, and you really feel the weight of him using his name, you know, in the email for the first time, but, yeah, like, I really did take it as a show of faith from Fox, that they wanted this movie to be mainstream. They wanted it to reach a bigger audience than just the like quirky book readers, my little like, you know, my little cult following from 2015. So yeah, so I'm really happy with it. It was a rough road. So.
Hi. You, my voice. Okay. So, first of all, I want to say thank you for writing a story that can be related to by an Asian gay Muslim girl. So thank you for that.
I'm so happy to hear that.
So my question is, as someone who wants to write for an audience similar to the kind of audience you wrote for, what would be your best advice?
That's a really good question. I think, and I've got can I give like more than one? There's sort of a couple of things that are coming immediately to mind. Like one, you know, one being like, I like spend some time like, you know, listening to how teens talk, if that's not something that's like a part of your daily life. And also listen to how they talk online. And it's just, I don't know, like I'm really, really intrigued by like Twitter stan language and like that Tumblr language. Like I find it like really poetic and cool, and like they're, you know, I'm not gonna take it all the way. Like I'm a 35-year-old like grown ass woman, and I'm not, like, I can't like pull it off. But you know, you get a sense of like the rhythm almost of the way like teens are talking, and that's been really helpful for me with like dialogue and even just like internal monologue and just, you know, just kind of you know, I don't know. It's almost like it's this like organic, unconscious process sometimes where I'm like absorbing some of this language, and it's evolving constantly. Like the different words that are, you know, like wig and like skinny, which I find to be kind of like, I don't think skinny should be a word that means cool, but apparently it does right now. But yeah, so I guess, yeah, I guess it sounds kind of creepy, but I don't mean it in a creepy way. It's just sort of like listen to how teens talk. Yeah. So.
We got a couple more questions. I want to get to you here in just 1 second because you're next, and then we got Patrick over here. 10 years ago, this movie doesn't get made. Not with society the way that it is. If you're lucky, you're on IFC at 3 in the morning. Today you've got this. You've got crowds all over the place seeing your movie. You're going up against Black Panther and you're not doing badly. So I'm wondering, how good does that feel though? To know that clearly you're making a difference.
You know, I mean, like, the way I see it is that, like, this is Greg Berlanti's baby, and Nick Robinson's baby. So it's, like, really nice to hear that. But also, like, Becky Albertalli, like, mom, who lives up down the road, like, am not going up against Black Panther and doing well. I did love Black Panther. I was a part of that, those box office numbers, though. But, yeah, I think it's exciting to be associated with a movie that I love and am really proud of. And yeah, it's complicated. I'm really glad it exists. I don't think I get credit for it, but I got really, really lucky with the adaptation.
So you mentioned earlier that some parts of the book were easier to write than others, and that specifically, like, Drunk Simon was easier for you to write. Were there any characters that you found just were the most fun to write? I'm not asking your favorite character because that's like, I would never do that. But were there any characters that you just had a really easy or really fun time writing?
Oh, absolutely. And she was fun in the sequel too, Taylor. She's so much fun. Like, she's in the movie. She's like, I don't know if she gets her name mentioned in the movie except for at the very end, But she's the girl with the, like, kind of wavy hair who's dressed sort of preppy, and she's best friends with Ethan. Ethan's not one of mine, but I love him. I claim him. But, yeah.
So who's your favorite character? No.
Ethan.
Okay, so did you have any inspiration from the real world to put into this movie or book?
Yes and no. So I think, sometimes people want to know, especially because before writing the book, I was a clinical psychologist. So people are like, is he based on your patients? And I'm like, oh my God, no. Like, that would make me literally the worst psychologist ever. Like, that is so unethical and wrong. So no, he's not, like, based on any of my patients or anybody's story that I know. Like, so the main kind of plot of this book and movie are fictional. There are a lot of moments in Simon and a lot of things about Simon that pull very heavily, like, from my own life. Like, Creekwood High School is a very thinly veiled Riverwood, like, with half the name changed. And Shady Creek is Sandy Springs, and it's, and I was, like, a theater kid, and there were these moments in the movie where when I'm watching it, I'm like, this movie reminds me so much of high school. It's so weird. I'm like, it's based on my high school. And there is, I think I was telling somebody in line today too, like, when Simon runs from his girlfriend and hides in the bathroom, like, I did that to a boy once. It was like, I felt guilty about it for years. It was like at a bat mitzvah, and a boy wanted to dance with me. And I actually liked him, but just couldn't deal with it. So I ran and hid in the bathroom, and there was this whole, like, line of communication with, like, my friends being like, he wants to dance with you, and I'm like, tell him no. He says he didn't actually want to. It was a joke, and he has a girlfriend. And I'm like, I don't buy it. So we're like, I don't know. I felt bad about it for years, and then I found out he's a really big Trump supporter. So I'm at peace. No, that's actually not one of my characters. That's like a Fox original. No, we actually had some really strange principal figures at our high school. That could be its own book, I think.
Well, I think that's going to do it for the Q&A, but Becky, thank you so much for coming out and joining us.